Stop making excuses, because every excuse you tell yourself is another brick in the wall that keeps you trapped in the same place. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to start something, go to the gym, start that business, learn that skill, and instead of taking the first step, you told yourself, I'm too tired, I don't have time, I don't have money, I'll do it tomorrow? Every one of those excuses is like a chain around your neck, pulling you down. Excuses feel comfortable in the moment. They protect your ego from facing the truth, but they are the poison that kills your potential slowly, day by day. I remember when I was young, people would look me in the eye and say, Arnold, you can't be a champion. You can't leave Austria. You can't be in Hollywood. If I had accepted their excuses for me, I would still be stuck in a small town dreaming small dreams. Instead, I refused to listen. I refused to give myself an excuse to stay safe. I said, why not me? When you stop making excuses, you start asking the right questions. You stop saying, I can't, and you start saying, how can I? And that one small shift changes everything. Look around you. The people who succeed are not the ones with perfect conditions. They are not the ones who had every door open for them. They are the ones who refuse to let excuses define them. Someone working 2 jobs still finds the time to study at night. Someone with no money still starts with what they have and builds brick by brick. Someone with no connection still knocks on doors until one finally opens. The difference is not talent, it's not luck. It's the refusal to make excuses. Think about the gym. Your body will not grow unless you put stress on it. When you say, I'm too tired to go today, that's an excuse. And what happens? You stay the same, or worse, you go backward. But when you say, I'm tired, but I'll go anyway, you push through, you grow stronger, you transform. The same applies to every area of life. Excuses are like comfort food for the mind. They taste good in the moment, but they make you weak in the long run. You need to start catching yourself every time an excuse enters your head. Call yourself out. When you hear your inner voice saying, I'll start tomorrow, answer back, no, I start now. When you hear, don't have enough, answer, I will find a way with what I have. When you hear, it's too hard, answer, good, because hard is what makes me stronger. The dialogue you have with yourself is the most powerful weapon you own. If you feed it excuses, it will destroy you. If you feed it responsibility, it will build you into someone unstoppable. Struggle is the price you pay for becoming someone greater than you were yesterday. People run away from it because it feels uncomfortable, it feels heavy, it feels unfair. But the truth is, without struggle, you remain the same, trapped in the same body, the same mindset, the same broken cycle. When you lift weights, your muscles tear, and in that tearing, they rebuild stronger. Life works the exact same way. When it tears you down, it is not punishing you, it is giving you the opportunity to rebuild into something tougher, sharper, more unshakable. Every person you admire today, every champion, every successful entrepreneur, every warrior of life, they did not get there because things were easy. They got there because they faced struggle and they refused to quit. They treated struggle not as a curse but as a gift. Think about it. When you are broke, that is struggle teaching you the value of money. When you are lonely, that is struggle teaching you the value of connection. When you are failing, that is struggle teaching you the value of persistence. These lessons cannot be bought, they must be earned, and the currency is pain, sweat, and sacrifice. Look at the person who avoids struggle. They never push themselves at the gym because it burns. They never take risks in business because it feels uncertain. They never speak up because they fear rejection. And what happens? Years go by, and they are the same as they were 10 years ago, maybe even weaker, maybe even more bitter, always wondering why life is so hard, while never realizing that it was their own refusal to embrace struggle that kept them small. Now look at the person who embraces it. They run when they are tired. They study when everyone else is sleeping. They invest when others are too scared. They fail, but they get back up. And every time they rise stronger. They understand that diamonds are only made under pressure, steel is only forged in fire, and greatness is only born through struggle. Remember a time in your own life when you faced struggle. Maybe it was a heartbreak, maybe it was losing a job, maybe it was standing at rock bottom. In that moment you thought it would break you, but look at you now. You are still here. You are still breathing. That struggle carved strength inside of you that you didn't even know existed. And if it made you stronger once, it can make you stronger again and again. Struggle is not there to destroy you. It is there to introduce you to the version of yourself that you haven't met yet. The warrior, the fighter, the leader, the relentless one who doesn't break, who doesn't quit, who doesn't back down when life turns up the heat. Struggle is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to become, and only those who are willing to cross it will ever taste the power of true freedom and success. Discipline is the bridge between the person you are and the person you want to become. Most people wait for motivation, they wait for a feeling, they wait for the perfect moment, but discipline doesn't wait. Discipline is doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. Think about it. The mornings when your alarm goes off and every part of you screams to stay in bed, motivation will tell you it's okay to sleep, but discipline will drag you out of bed and into the gym. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes, but discipline is permanent, it becomes who you are. Every champion you have ever admired didn't rise to the top because they felt motivated every day. They rose to the top because they built routines, habits, and systems that didn't ask for their feelings. The runner who trains in the rain, the student who studies through the night, the entrepreneur who works while others party, they are not relying on sparks of energy, they are living by discipline. Daily choices, daily sacrifices, daily actions stacked one on top of the other until greatness is built like a fortress. Look at your own life. How many times have you started something strong, but then faded away because the excitement wore off? You bought the gym membership, you went for a week, then you stopped. You promised yourself you would read every night. You did it for 3 days, then you quit. That's the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Discipline doesn't care if you are tired. Discipline doesn't care if you are sad. Discipline doesn't care if nobody is cheering for you. Discipline says, we're going forward no matter what. A daily life is full of examples. A parent who wakes up every single day to provide for their family, even when exhausted, even when sick, that is discipline. A soldier who trains the same drills day after day until it becomes second nature, that is discipline. An artist who paints even when inspiration is silent, that is discipline. Greatness is never built in one dramatic moment. It is built in the invisible hours of discipline when no one is watching. And the most powerful thing about discipline is that it builds freedom. When you discipline yourself to work on your body, you earn the freedom of health. When you discipline yourself to manage your money, you earn the freedom of wealth. When you discipline yourself to learn and grow, you earn the freedom of knowledge. People think discipline is restriction, but in reality, it is the highest form of self-respect and power. Discipline is the voice inside you that says, don't care how you feel, we are doing this anyway. It is the weapon that will carry you through storms, through boredom, through fatigue, through doubt. It transforms ordinary people into extraordinary ones because it removes the illusion of choice and replaces it with certainty of action. Negativity is like poison, but the dangerous thing about it is that it doesn't kill you instantly. It kills you slowly, drop by drop, day by day. You don't even notice how heavy it becomes until you wake up one day and realize your energy is gone, your dreams are dim, and your fire has turned cold. Negativity from people, from the environment, and most importantly from your own mind, is the anchor that keeps you from flying. If you want to rise, you have to cut it off. Look around in daily life and you'll see how contagious negativity is. One person starts complaining about their job, and suddenly everyone else joins in, sinking into the same pit. One friend mocks your idea, and you start doubting yourself even though yesterday you were excited. One negative voice inside your head whispers, you're not good enough. And before you know it, you've sabotaged yourself before even trying. Negativity spreads faster than fire because it feeds on fear, but just like fire, it can only burn if you give it oxygen. Imagine you are climbing a mountain with a backpack. Every negative person, every negative thought, every toxic habit is a rock thrown into that backpack. At first you think it's manageable, you keep going, but step by step, that weight grows heavier. After a while you're too exhausted to move, not because the mountain is impossible, but because you are carrying too much useless weight. This is why so many people give up. They are not weak, they are overloaded. The solution is not to quit the climb, it is to drop the rocks. Cut out the voices that only pull you down. Silence the thoughts that only sabotage you. Distance yourself from people who only see problems and never solutions. There are people in your life right now who smile at your failures, who laugh when you try, who secretly want you to stay small because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. If you keep them close, their negativity will become your reality. But when you decide to surround yourself with people who believe, people who push, people who lift you higher, then suddenly the weight feels lighter, the mountain feels possible, and your own mind starts to believe again. Negativity also comes from within. That inner critic that keeps telling you you're not smart enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough, is nothing but a liar trained by years of doubt. You have to fight that voice like a warrior. When it says you can't, you answer, watch me. When it says you'll fail, you say, failure is fuel. When it says it's not worth it, you shout back, my future is worth everything. This is not just positive thinking, this is survival. Because if you let negativity rule your mind, it will steal every opportunity before it even reaches your hands. Negativity is powerful, but so is your choice. You can feed it, or you can starve it. You can let it spread, or you can burn it out with relentless focus, gratitude, and determination. And every time you cut negativity out, you create more space for energy, courage, and growth to enter your life. Responsibility is the moment you stop pointing fingers at the world and start pointing the finger at yourself. Most people waste their entire life blaming others. They blame their parents, they blame their boss, they blame the government, they blame the economy, they blame bad luck. And every time they blame someone else, they give away their power. When you blame, you become a victim, and a victim can never change their situation. But the second you take responsibility, you take back control, you hold the steering wheel of your life, and suddenly you realize you are not stuck, you are in charge. Think about it. When a student fails an exam and says, the teacher is unfair, they are handing over control. When they say, I didn't study enough, they open the door to improvement. When someone says, I'm broke because the economy is bad, they are trapped. But when they say, I need to learn how to manage money and create opportunities, they become free. Responsibility is not about guilt, it is about power. It is the voice inside you that says, no matter what happens, I will own it, I will fix it, I will rise from it. The daily life is full of examples. A worker who shows up late every day and blames traffic will never grow, but the one who takes responsibility will leave earlier, plan better, and earn respect. A partner who blames the other for every fight will destroy the relationship, but the one who takes responsibility for their own words and actions will build something stronger. An athlete who blames the referee will stay angry, but the one who takes responsibility for training harder will come back unstoppable. When you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for someone else to change your life. You stop expecting rescue. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions because you understand the perfect time will never come. Responsibility makes you proactive. It makes you hungry. It makes you relentless. It's like lifting weights in the gym. When you rack up the plates, nobody else is going to lift it for you. You either pick it up or you don't. That's life. Nobody is coming to do your push-ups. Nobody is coming to live your dreams. You either step up or you stay weak. Yes, sometimes life will hand you unfair situations. Sometimes you will get knocked down by things you didn't cause. But even then, responsibility is the choice that separates winners from losers. Winners say, this happened to me, but I will rise anyway. Losers say, this happened to me, so I give up. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always control how you respond, and your response defines your destiny. Responsibility is the foundation of freedom, because the moment you say, it's on me, you stop waiting, you start doing, and you unleash the power that was always inside you. Focus is the weapon that cuts through all the noise of the world and directs your energy like a laser toward your vision. Most people fail not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they scatter themselves everywhere. They try to chase 10 things at once, and in the end, they hold nothing. Focus is the discipline of saying no to 100 distractions so you can say yes to the one thing that will change your life. Everywhere you look, There are temptations to pull you away from your path. Your phone buzzes, social media screams for your attention. People tell you to come out and waste time. Television fills your head with noise. And while you are distracted, your dreams collect dust. Every great achievement in history was built by someone who understood the power of focus. An athlete who trains hours on one movement, a scientist who spends decades studying one subject, an artist who pours their heart into one canvas. This kind of focus is what creates greatness. Daily life proves it over and over. Imagine a magnifying glass. If you hold it under the sun and move it around constantly, nothing happens. But if you hold it steady in one place, the focused rays of the sun can start a fire. Your mind is the same. Scattered, it is weak. Focused, it can burn through every obstacle. Think about the gym. If you go one day and lift weights, then the next day quit, then the next week try running, then stop again, your body never changes. But if you commit, if you focus on one consistent plan, day after day, the transformation becomes unstoppable. It's not because you suddenly became stronger, it's because your focus created momentum. And focus is not only about what you do, it's also about what you refuse to do. It is about ignoring the gossip, ignoring the critics, ignoring the meaningless activities that waste your energy. People will try to drag you into their drama. They will try to break your concentration because your focus reminds them of their own lack of direction. You cannot let them. When they call, you stay working. When they mock, you keep moving. When they doubt, you sharpen your focus even more. Focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. At first, your mind will wander. You will feel restless. You will want to quit. But the longer you stay locked in, the more powerful you become. And soon you realize that the secret to success is not doing everything. It is doing the right thing with relentless attention until it becomes impossible to fail. Focus turns ordinary hours into extraordinary results. It transforms confusion into clarity, weakness into strength, dreams into reality. When you give your full attention to one goal, when you block out the noise, when you channel your mind completely, you become unstoppable because nothing can resist the force of a life lived with total focus. Relentless means you do not stop when it gets difficult. You do not slow down when it gets uncomfortable. You do not quit when you feel tired. Relentless is not a word, it is an attitude, a way of living that says, no matter how many times I get knocked down, I will stand up again. No matter how heavy the burden becomes, I will carry it further. No matter how many obstacles rise in front of me, I will break through them or I will go around them, but I will never accept defeat. Most people stop when they reach the point of pain, but relentless people see pain as the signal to push harder. In daily life, you see it everywhere. The student who studies night after night, even after failing the first 2 exams, that is relentless. The athlete who misses the shot 1,000 times, but comes back to practice until it becomes perfect, that is relentless. The single parent who works 2 jobs, comes home exhausted, and still makes sure their children have food, love, and guidance, that is relentless. It is the refusal to surrender, the refusal to take the easy way, the refusal to be average when greatness is still possible. Relentless people understand that fatigue is temporary, but regret is forever. When the body says stop, the mind answers back, one more step, one more rep, one more try. When the world says it's over, the relentless heart says, I'm just getting started. And the truth is, life respects this kind of person. Doors that stay locked for others eventually open for those who are relentless, because persistence wears down resistance. Imagine you are in the gym. You pick up a heavy weight and your muscles burn after a few reps. Most people rack it, they stop there, they say it's enough. But the relentless one keeps going, pushing past the point of comfort, tearing the muscle so it can grow. The same principle applies to success. You cannot grow if you quit at the first sign of pain. You cannot build a legacy if you only work when it's easy. You have to go past that invisible wall where most people stop, because on the other side of that wall is where champions are made. And relentless does not mean reckless. It means strategic persistence, controlled aggression, smart endurance. It means you adapt, you adjust, but you never abandon the mission. The storm comes, you don't sit and cry about it. You march through the rain. The critics laugh. You don't waste energy arguing. You let your results silence them. Relentless is the voice inside you that refuses to shut up, the fire inside you that refuses to go out, The force that drives you long after motivation is gone, long after strength feels drained, long after everyone else has walked away. To be relentless is to decide once and for all that nothing will stop you, not fear, not pain, not failure, not even time itself, because you will keep showing up again and again until the world has no choice but to give you what you came for. Life is not waiting for you, it is moving right now, and every second you sit in doubt, in excuses, in weakness, you are letting opportunities slip away. You have heard about struggle, about discipline, about focus, about responsibility, about cutting out negativity, about being relentless, and now the choice stands in front of you. Will you walk away nodding your head, feeling good for a moment, and then go back to the same routine? Or will you burn these words into your soul and act like your life depends on it? Because it does. Listen to me, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the dream you keep thinking about late at night. Nobody is going to build the body, the career, the freedom you want. You have to get up and do it yourself. Greatness is not given, it is taken. Victory is not granted, it is earned. The world bows down only to those who refuse to bow down to it. You want to know the secret? The secret is not talent, it is not luck, it is not even intelligence. The secret is the will to keep going when every part of you screams to quit. The secret is to rise when the world expects you to stay down. The secret is to keep fighting when nobody is watching, when nobody is clapping, when nobody believes. The world respects action, the world respects results, the world respects the one who says, I will not stop until I win. Think about the legends we admire. They were not born unstoppable, they became unstoppable. They bled, they cried, they failed, but they never surrendered. Their names echo in history not because life was easy for them, but because they were harder than life. They looked at pain and said, break me if you can. And every time pain tried, they came back stronger. You can be that person. You can rewrite your story. You can take the broken pieces of your past and build a weapon out of them. You can take the doubts, the struggles, the failures, and use them as fuel to set your future on fire. But you must decide now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because if not now, then when? Every time you hesitate, every time you pause, weakness grows stronger. But every time you move forward, even one step, even crawling, strength grows inside you. Progress is not about speed, it is about direction. And if your direction is forward, nothing can stop you. There will be voices that tell you to quit. There will be obstacles that make you want to turn back. There will be days when you question everything. But remember this, winners are not those who never feel doubt. Winners are those who never surrender to it. So rise with power in your chest, rise with fire in your eyes, rise with the decision that today, right now, is the day you stop being weak. Tear the excuses apart, break the chains of negativity, embrace the discipline, take responsibility, sharpen your focus, and move with relentless force. Because in the end, the pain will fade, the struggle will pass, but the pride of knowing you never gave up will stay with you forever. Remember these words, pain is temporary, glory is forever, impossible is nothing, and the only limits that exist are the ones you accept, so do not accept them. Stand tall, fight hard, push further, and let the world remember that you were here, that you lived with strength, that you lived with courage, and that you never stopped until your dream became reality.